followers, and welcome to another edition of Nasdaq Spotlight. My name is Lyanne Alfaro, and we're coming to you live from Salt Lake City, Utah at the second annual Pluralsight Live Conference. Joining me right now is Julie Lerman, Pluralsight author and software coach. Julie, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the work you do at Pluralsight.
Oh, Pluralsight, I'm a contractor person. Somewhat of a contractor, I would say. I'm a Pluralsight author as opposed to an employee of Pluralsight. So I'm an independent. And with Pluralsight, what I do is I create online content for them, software training on technologies that I'm an expert in, and I love to share with people and help people learn how to use.
Now, you've been a software coach for a while, but what has being an author enabled you to do?
One of the amazing things about Pluralsight, and I've seen them grow because I've been with them for about 9 years, is to be able to reach so many more people all over the world than I could normally. I speak at conferences and do things like that, but it gives me, gives other people, more people, access to the things that I can teach them.
That's amazing. Now, tell me, you have 30 plus years of experience being a developer. Could you tell us what are some of the biggest changes you have witnessed in that space?
I think one of the most important things that's happened along the way is the internet. Not just for the ability to, create websites and move things to the cloud and all that, but in terms of being able to learn and interact with people, even with Twitter, interact with developers all over the world, and being able to have resources, not just Pluralsight, but all kinds of online resources and articles and things like that. When I was programming in the 80s and the 90s, I was really dependent on either going to, what we call meetups now, right? I lived in New York City, so there were programmers who got together and we could learn from each other, or publications that would come in the mail, and you'd read while you're eating lunch or whatever, and books. And that's how we learned. Right, and the occasional maybe going to a conference or something like that, but I didn't do that at first. So having just this unbelievable access to learning resources and also interacting with people to help you learn more. Go on Twitter and somebody's got a question and they can get an answer to it. That I think is for learning and growing your skills, I think that is the most amazing thing that's happened.
And I mean, it certainly speaks to why you are author at Pluralsight, which is working on this very mission of democratizing learning. So tell me, for developers who are looking to keep their skills sharp, which is clearly that's something you've had to do time and time again, I'm sure, what are your biggest pieces of advice to developers?
One thing that people ask me a lot is in addition to keeping a particular skill sharp, they ask what should they learn. And granted, they need to learn the things they need for their work. But there's so much to choose from. And I have always been telling people to just follow something that inspires you, something you're curious about, even if it's not something you're using for work that day, or you might not be using it for work that you can see in the foreseeable future. It makes it, by pursuing things that you're curious about, that you want to learn, not just that you have to learn, it makes learning fun. It keeps your skill of learning, because learning is a skill, right? And having the patience to learn and, finding your best way. Maybe it's through a video, maybe it's from reading, maybe it's from doing something hands-on, but practice learning. Right? Not just with a focus of learning the thing that you have to for your work, because as you do that, then the things that you do have to learn, it can be more fun and more focused.
Certainly sounds like making purpose out of learning is a big part of it. So Julie, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Nasdaq Spotlight.
Fun to chat with you. Thank you.
Great conversation. Followers at Nasdaq, please be sure to stay tuned on this page for more updates from Pluralsight Live.